You're afraid to be bored. Many people may immediately argue this claim and say things like, I'm constantly bored. However, I'd say that this disagreement stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of what true boredom actually is. Being bored is defined by Google as feeling weary because one is unoccupied or lacks interest in one's current activities. However, an article from Scientific America says there's no universally accepted definition of boredom, but whatever it is, researchers argue it's not simply another name for depression or apathy. It seems to be a specific mental state that people find unpleasant, a lack of stimulation that leaves them craving relief. This makes total sense at face value. No one likes being bored. We're constantly looking to escape instances of boredom. But why? What's the alternative? The alternative is being alone with ourselves, alone with nothing but our thoughts. This is what scares us. This is why we're constantly doing everything we can to prevent us from slipping into true boredom. It's been shown that people are so afraid of self-reflection that we're willing to inflict pain on ourselves. Researchers asked people to sit in a room with nothing to do for as long as 15 minutes at a time. Some participants, particularly men, were willing to give themselves small electric shocks rather than be alone with their thoughts. If you stepped back with an objective eye and looked at all the times that you were bored this week, you'd find that you weren't actually bored, you were always doing something. That something was most likely one of the mindless, time-eating activities of my generation. Whether it be scrolling through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, watching The Office for the 4th time, listening to music, or diving into a rabbit hole on YouTube. All these activities provide just enough stimuli to keep the brain from thinking about anything else in that moment. They keep us from the scary thought of being alone with ourselves. Don't get me wrong, all of these things stated can be used to better our lives. Social media is the perfect place to get your ideas out and learn about things happening in the world. The Office is arguably one of the best TV series of all time, and YouTube provides a platform capable of teaching you anything you could ever want to know. However, social media can also be a destructive arena to compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. And Netflix can trap you for hours on end from weeks or months. More often than not, these things end up stealing the most valuable resource this universe has to offer, time, and robbing us of valuable instances of true boredom. Derek from Veritasium says it best in saying boredom is both a warning that we're not doing what we want to be doing and a push that motivates us to switch goals and projects. True boredom fosters creativity, innovation, self-reflection, and long-term goal setting. When your mind wanders, it goes into a state of autobiographical planning. This is just a fancy term for making a to-do list in your head. When you're bored, you think of all the things that you've completed and all the things that you want to complete in the future. Then you organize them into a list and you begin planning the necessary steps needed to complete those tasks. Just like everything else, practice makes perfect. If you can be mindful and self-aware of your distracting tendencies, then you can intentionally induce true boredom by noticing your tendencies as they occur and choosing to ignore them. Once you're aware, the opportunities to practice are everywhere. When you're walking to class, don't put headphones in. When you're driving to work, keep the radio off. When you're eating dinner, sit at the table, not in front of the TV. Schedule boredom into your day. Then, when you're in a situation of little control and are in a state of forced boredom, whether it be waiting in line or sitting at a stoplight, you can more easily take advantage of those situations and begin having productive and meaningful conversations with yourself. So the next time you get the urge to check social media or start a new Netflix series, pause and ask yourself, why are you doing this? Have a conversation with yourself, because you can learn just as much looking inward as you can looking outward. Don't fear boredom. Embrace it.